What are her mysteries? When we speak of the Divine Mother's mysteries, we're not talking about secrets. We're talking about structure. The way energy moves, the way nature cycles, the way creation unfolds. There are patterns in this world, not moral dogma, not imposed rules, but the inherent ways physical reality and spiritual energy operate. Because she is the foundation of all of it, these movements are her current in motion. Her mysteries are not information to memorize. They are realities to step into, to experience, to test, to live. At first, you learn how the current flows, how cycles work, how energy builds and dissolves, how justice balances, how transformation unfolds. But she does not ask for blind obedience. She encourages exploration, to gently push the edges of what you think is possible, to question whether a boundary is truly structural or simply inherited. We only know what we know at the time. Growth happens when we learn the foundation well enough to experiment with integrity. Her mysteries give you the map, but you must walk it. Take a moment and consider, where in your life are you learning the rules of the current? And where might you be ready to test your understanding of them? Mystery is not hidden, it is lived. Her first mystery, the worlds. The first of her mysteries is the worlds. Not different places you travel to, but layered realities. Imagine transparent layers placed over one another, each holding part of the full image. When they align, the whole picture appears. Physical, energetic, emotional, mental, spiritual. They are all present at once. But as humans, we mostly perceive one layer clearly, the physical. Your soul senses more. And there are layers beyond even that vibrations we do not yet reach. Every action you take in this physical layer ripples outward. Every energetic shift echoes inward. The worlds are not stacked above you, they are interwoven with you. Her first mystery teaches awareness of this field, because without understanding the layered nature of reality, you will try to solve problems from the wrong layer. You will react physically to something energetic, or spiritualize what requires grounded action. Learning the worlds is learning placement. Where is this happening? How does this ripple? Take a moment and reflect. When something shifts in your life, what layer does it begin in? And where does it echo next? Seeing the layers clearly is the beginning of moving within them consciously. Her second mystery, the scales. Once you understand the worlds, that reality is layered and interwoven, the next mystery becomes necessary, the scales. Every action creates effect, not only physically, but also energetically, emotionally, spiritually. Nothing moves in isolation, but the scales are not about judging others. They are about judging yourself. Are your actions aligned with your morals, your own foundations, your own boundaries? Not the ones imposed on you, the ones you have consciously chosen and built. You are responsible for holding your center. And you are responsible for understanding that what you think, say, and do ripples outward in the larger tapestry. You are an individual thread, but you are still part of the weave. The scales ask you to think from three spaces at once: cause and effect, personal integrity, energetic balance? Does this action reflect who I claim to be? Does it respect that others must hold their own path? And what ripples will this create beyond me? Justice here is not punishment, it's equilibrium, alignment between emotion, thought, word, and action. When the scales are active in your life, you may feel tension, not because you're wrong, but because something is being weighed. Take a moment and ask, where am I being called to refine my alignment? Not for appearance, but for true balance. The scales do not restrict you. They teach you how to move responsibly within the weave. Her third mystery, the scythe. Once you understand the worlds and you learn to weigh yourself on the scales, there comes a moment when something must be done. This is the mystery of the scythe. The scythe cuts. It removes what no longer serves, what does not align, what holds you back, what you have outgrown. But it also harvests what you planted, what you nurtured, and even what you ignored. The scythe is consequence, not punishment, not reward, consequence. Everything you think, speak, and do eventually ripens. Some of it will be good, some of it will be difficult. All of it comes from movement. The scythe asks you to take ownership. If something no longer aligns, cut it. If something has matured, receive it. If something painful has grown from your own choices, acknowledge it, learn from it, adjust. Harvest is not always comfortable, but it is honest. Growth requires both severing and gathering. If the scythe is active in your life, ask, what is ready to be cut? What is ready to be claimed? What am I being asked to take responsibility for? The scythe does not shame you. It teaches you that your choices matter and that you are capable of shaping what comes next. Her fourth mystery, the bones. After the worlds are understood, after the scales have weighed you, after the scythe has cut and harvested, what remains? The bones. Bones are foundation. They are the structure everything else is built upon. They endure when surface layers change, when roles shift, when identities evolve. From an individual view, the bones are your core. The self that remains after illusion is stripped, after lessons are lived, after consequences are owned. But the mystery of the bones is larger than the individual. Strip away skin, strip away heritage, strip away culture, status, difference. Beneath all of it, there are bones. The same structure, the same humanity, the same living framework. She comes as bone, so no one is excluded by appearance. No one is divided by the surface. In bone, you can see your reflection in her. You can also see other reflections too. Bone reveals unity without erasing individuality. It is what holds upright. If this mystery is active in your life, ask, what remains when the surface falls away? Who am I at the core? And can I recognize the same structure in others? Bones are not emptiness, they are endurance. They are the reminder that beneath difference, there is shared foundation. Why her tools only make sense after the mysteries. Now that we've walked through her mysteries, the worlds, the scales, the scythe, and the bones, We can talk about her tools, but without the mysteries, the tools become decoration or superstition or habit. Her tools are not symbolic props. They're instruments. Each one engages a mystery. Each one allows you to consciously participate in the layered worlds, to weigh yourself on the scales, to cut our harvest with a scythe, to remember the unity of the bones. Without understanding structure, a tool is just an object. With understanding, it becomes an extension of alignment. This is where devotion becomes intelligence, where practice becomes intentional, where action reflects awareness. The tools do not create the mystery, they help you work within it. As we move into our tools next, consider this. Do you use ritual and prayer as habit or as conscious participation in a larger architecture? When structure and practice meet, foundation becomes lived. Her first tool, the rosary. After understanding the worlds, you must learn how to move within them. That is why she gives the rosary. Not the Catholic and Christian rosary, but the Divine Mother's. Her rosaries are not petitions. They are not instructions. Each prayer carries a lesson, a way of thinking, a way of standing, a way of moving. When repeated, those lessons do not stay in the mind. They begin to rewire it. Repetition builds pathways. What once was an idea becomes perception. What was once perception becomes embodiment. You begin to move differently because you think differently. You respond differently because you see differently. This is how change happens, not by force, not by demand, but by internal reordering. And something else happens in this repetition. The rhythm shifts your state. Your breathing slows. Your thoughts quiet. Your energy changes. You enter the space where her presence can be felt, where her voice can be heard, where companionship begins to form. The rosary is both discipline and doorway. It reconstructs the mind while softening the edges of awareness. Over time, the lessons stop feeling external. They become yours. So if this tool is active in your life, ask, am I just reciting words? Or am I allowing them to reshape me? The rosary does not beg for change. It creates it from the inside out. Her second tool, sacred waters. If the rosary reconstructs the mind, sacred waters restructure the living field. Water carries memory. It responds to sound, to emotion, to intention. Your body is made mostly of water, which means every word you speak touches you first. Water does not just cleanse, it records. It holds what is impressed upon it. When you speak prayer into water, you are shaping it. When you infuse it with emotion, healing, strength, clarity, devotion, it receives that imprint. And when you consume it, you take that imprint into yourself. The water reshapes the field it enters. This is why sacred waters are powerful. They are not symbolic. They are not participatory. For some, sacred waters are healing. For others, they are strength. For others still, clarity. You infuse what is needed, and you receive it back through embodiment. But as the bond deepens, the intention shifts. It becomes less about asking for something and more about honoring oneness, infusing love, infused shared presence, drinking in companionship. At that stage, the ritual is not for correction, it is for union. If this tool is active in your life, ask, what am I imprinting into the waters I carry? What am I taking back into myself daily? Am I speaking with awareness of the field I am shaping? Water responds. So do you. Her third tool, the candle. If the rosary restructures the mind and the sacred waters reshapes the living field, the candle directs transformation. A candle is not decoration. It is architecture in motion. The wick is intention. It is the path energy must travel to reach its outcome. The wax is matter. Threads, cycles, conditions that must be softened and shifted for change to occur. The flame is will, emotion, focus, action, the spark that begins movement. When you light a candle with intention, you are not asking for something to appear. You are initiating rearrangement. Sometimes the focus is external, a job, a door opening, an opportunity forming. The flame begins weaving threads in your favor, bringing circumstances into alignment. But inner movement is still required. You must see the opening. You must step forward. You must act. Other times, the focus is internal. Fear, habit, limitation, resistance. The wax softens what is rigid. The flame consumes what no longer serves. The path clears from within. External and internal are never separate. The candle teaches this. Energy may shift the field, but choice moves the body. If this tool is active in your life right now, ask, am I willing to move when the path opens? Am I prepared for the threads that must melt for changes to occur? Is my will aligned with what I claim to desire? The candle does not force transformation. It begins it. You must continue it. Her fourth tool, the elemental cross. If the candle directs transformation, the elemental cross establishes alignment. Fire, water, air, earth, these are not abstract ideas. They are modes of movement. They live within you, within nature, within the seen and the unseen. Earth, structure. Water, flow and memory. Air, thought and perception. Fire, will and action. When one dominates, imbalance forms. When one is neglected, weakness appears. The elemental cross brings them into awareness. It asks, is my structure stable? Are my emotions clear? Is my perception clean? Is my will disciplined? This tool is not about summoning, it's about alignment. Because transformation without alignment creates distortion. When the elements are balanced within you, your movement becomes cleaner. Your intention becomes sharper. Your ripple becomes steadier. The cross is foundation. It ensures that when you act from integration, not fragmentation. For beginners, the elemental cross is internal stabilization. For those who walk further, it becomes pattern recognition, cycles, directions, greater architecture. But that expansion rests on the simple cross. Alignment first, expansion later. So if this tool is active in your life, ask, which element in me is overextended? Which is underdeveloped? Where am I acting without balance? The cross does not add power, it distributes it correctly.